So as you guys can tell by the title of the video, we are upgrading our NZXT H710 PC with an i9-9900K. So the system currently sits with an 8700K and a 1660 Super, and we're cooling it with an NZXT Kraken X63, so a 280 mil AIO, which should be plenty of cooling for our 9900K. And I mean, is this CPU really still worth the upgrade in 2021? I mean, for my purposes, currently sitting with an 8700K, we're at 6 cores and 12 threads. And the upgrade to the 9900K just made sense at this moment because I already have a Z390 motherboard. All I really have to do is pop out the old CPU, pop in the new one, and there you go. Upgraded system, 2 more cores, 4 more threads should make all of the productivity tasks that I'm doing, definitely give those a little bit of a boost. Gaming probably won't see that big of a jump, but we'll test that as well just to see if maybe we do get a bit of a performance increase. I mean, we're probably not going to see it with a 1660 Super because we're definitely not CPU limited at that point. Maybe if we upgrade to an RTX 3070 or 3080, then we would probably see a bit of an improvement with the 9900K with those extra cores and maybe a slightly higher clock speed. We're running our 8700K at all core 4.7. We'll see what we can do with the 9900K. And there's definitely going to be even more performance gains for our 9900K in the near future as I'm upgrading the system to a 360mm radiator, an AIO. So you're going to have to stay tuned to see exactly what AIO I end up installing and what kind of performance boost we see going from a 280mm to a 360mm. And that brings me to a very important point. So as you guys can see, only 0.7% of you guys are subscribed to the channel. 99.3% of the viewers of my videos are not subscribed. So if we could get that number to 10%, we'd have almost 20,000 subscribers on the channel, which would be insane. That would be awesome. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, you'll stay up to date on all of my upcoming videos. So be sure to do that, but let's get back to the action. Before we get into any of the testing, we got to chuck in our 9900K. So all we're going to do, pop off the AIO, pop out the 8700K, put in the 9900K, boot the system up, whatever Windows things we'll have to do, we'll do that. And then we'll probably hop into the BIOS just so I can show you guys a quick overclock, and then we'll get to all of the testing. First startup with the 9900K. There we go. We're going to enter the setup. F1. And we'll do a quick overclock, set XMP all up, set our boot drive, everything like that. So after getting the 9900K installed and booting the system up, the overclock was pretty simple. All we had to do was make a couple BIOS setting changes, remove all limits on the CPU core, and then apply an all-core multiplier of 49. So I went 4.9 gigahertz on the 9900K. I pretty much was running a 4.7 gigahertz overclock on the 8700K, so we're going to see some improvement just purely based on CPU speed. But it's a lot easier to hit that overclock with the 9900K, keeping temperatures very, very similar to that of the 8700K at the 4.7 gigahertz overclock. So that was definitely a boost as well, along going from 6 cores to 8 cores and then 12 threads to 16 threads. So overall, just a big, big jump in CPU performance without a doubt. So definitely a really nice performance increase, both in terms of core count as well as CPU frequency. And I didn't really go over this at the beginning of the video, but going from the 8700K to the 9900K was perfect for me, but it might not be the perfect matchup for you. I mean, the 8700K in a Z390 motherboard made the upgrade to a 9900K super simple. I'm going to end up selling this 8700K on eBay. They're going for around $180 to $200 used. So that is perfect, minus the eBay fees and stuff like that. Probably looking at $160 or so for the 8700K. And then if you subtract that from the price of our 9900K that we got at Microcenter for $299, you're looking at around $140 for a really nice bump in CPU performance. But going with the 9900K for me was the best decision rather than waiting for, let's say, AMD 5000 or going 10th gen on Intel, just because I didn't have to upgrade the motherboard whatsoever. So that saved me a couple $100 as well. And even though future-proofing your system with a 5000 series chip from AMD or a 10 series chip from Intel would be super awesome, I'm kind of holding out on both of those chips, maybe 5 nanometer from AMD and maybe 10 nanometer from Intel. I see a lot bigger jumps in performance coming from both of those companies in the near future, so holding out and just upgrading to the 9900K was what I thought was the best decision right now. And whatever performance increases we might have seen with going with one of those newer chips definitely doesn't outweigh the cost currently and what we're going to end up spending down the line when we upgrade eventually anyways. And the 9900K is definitely no slouch. It's going to pair super awesomely when we do get a 3070 or a 3080, just waiting for stock to finally come in on both of those cards to see exactly which one I want to go with. But I think you're going to be super impressed with the performance increases from the 8700K to the 9900K. I did a pretty wide variety of benchmarks, both actual benchmarks, so Cinebench and TimeSpy, as well as some other applications like Premiere Pro in terms of actually rendering a video, and then Blender as well. And then we're also taking a look at a couple games, Cyberpunk 2077 and Black Ops Cold War. Now, just be forewarned, we are using a 1660 Super, so we're definitely going to be more GPU bottlenecked than we are CPU bottlenecked, especially in Cyberpunk. So you might not see as big of an increase there, but once we were to get an RTX 3080 or one of those cards, then the jump from the 8700K to the 9900K would be only more noticeable. So let's just get into the benchmark so you guys can see the performance increases for yourself. So there we have it, a nice jump moving from the 8700K to the 9900K. What do you guys think? Is it worth the upgrade from, let's say, even an 8600K or a 9600K to jump up to the 9900K rather than, again, AMD 5000 series or Intel 10th gen? For me, it was the perfect choice, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Leave that in the comments below. If you have any other questions, leave them there as well. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you can stay up to date on my latest videos.